The Arctic is a place of brutal honesty, stripping away all but the essential. During World War II, military engineers sent north to build bases found their modern structures failing, cold, damp, and fuel-hungry. The relentless cold was a more persistent enemy than any human foe. Amid their struggle, they noticed strange grassy mounds, the remains of ancient Norse settlements. Driven by desperation, they excavated these sites, not for treasure, but for warmth. What they found defied expectations. Sophisticated homes, not primitive huts. Thick stone and earth walls, turf-covered roofs. These houses were built with a deep understanding of the Arctic. Inside, the air was cold but dry and stable, a stark contrast to their own barracks. The ancient builders had created a pocket of calm in the heart of the storm. The engineers realized these ruins were blueprints for survival, not just relics. The Vikings, with only local materials and ingenuity, had outperformed modern technology. Their homes solved problems that baffled the brightest minds of the Allied forces. This was a lost art, living in harmony with the harshest climate on Earth. The most astonishing feature of these Norse homes was their thermal efficiency. In a land where fuel was scarce, these houses stayed warm with almost none. Unlike the engineers' fuel-guzzling heaters, Viking homes relied on body heat and a small fire. This was no magic, just a masterful grasp of insulation and heat retention. The massive walls and turf roofs trapped warmth, turning the house into an earthen battery. Every bit of heat, from people, animals, or cooking, was captured and recycled. The result, a passive house that worked with nature, not against it. This freed the inhabitants from constant fuel gathering, letting them focus on survival. The house worked for them, not the other way around. The lesson, the smartest way to fight the cold, is with intelligent, nature-inspired design. The genius of the Viking Arctic house was in its layered construction. Foundations of flat stones lifted the house above permafrost. Walls were double-layered stone, with a thick cavity filled with earth, sand, and dried seaweed, a brilliant natural insulator. This dense core blocked the cold and trapped heat, while the stone mass absorbed and slowly released warmth. The roof, framed with driftwood or whalebone, was topped with birch bark and thick turf blocks. In summer, the grass grew, binding the roof and blending the house into the landscape. The breathable stone and earth walls managed moisture, preventing the damp that plagued modern huts. Small vents allowed controlled airflow without drafts. The entire structure was a dynamic, balanced system, mass, insulation, and breathability in harmony, all achieved with local, natural materials. It was sustainable design, centuries ahead of its time, a true masterclass in building with the land. Compare a Viking turf house to a modern home, and the differences are stark. Modern houses are built from distant, energy-intensive materials, concrete, steel, plastic, sealed boxes reliant on constant energy input. When the grid fails, these homes quickly become uninhabitable. The Viking house, built from local stone, turf, and driftwood, was resilient and self-sufficient. Its thick, breathable walls managed temperature and humidity naturally. It needed little from its inhabitants or the outside world. Modern homes are fragile appliances, dependent on external systems. The Viking house was a living part of the landscape, a partner in survival. When disaster struck, it stayed warm and safe, powered by its own design. We've traded resilience for convenience and lost the security our ancestors built into their homes. The Norse understood a home's true purpose is shelter and security, not just comfort. Our modern approach leaves us vulnerable. The ancient turf house offers a warning and a lesson. The Allied engineers' discovery should have changed how we build in cold climates. Instead, the Viking turf house technique was classified and forgotten. Military secrecy played a role. These low-signature warm bases were a tactical asset, but economic forces mattered more. Post-war industry thrived on steel, concrete, and energy consumption. A house built from earth and seaweed, needing no fuel, threatened this model. There was no profit in self-sufficiency. The era's faith in technology dismissed ancient methods as obsolete. The idea that Vikings outsmarted modern engineers was unthinkable. So, the knowledge was buried, hidden by secrecy, ignored by industry, dismissed by culture. The rediscovery of the turf house was an inconvenient truth. It didn't fit the narrative of progress, and so it was quietly pushed aside. The Viking builder's wisdom is more relevant now than ever. Their first lesson: work with nature, not against it. They observed the Arctic and designed homes that harmonized with its rules. Thermal mass was key. Heavy walls stored energy, buffering against cold and outages. Earth and turf provided natural insulation, a low-cost strategy anyone can use. The simplest materials, used wisely, offer the best solutions. The Viking house was resilient through simplicity, few moving parts, no complex systems. Its strength was in its design, not technology. For modern survival, the goal is a home that works passively, providing safety without constant input. The Norse longhouse is the ultimate model of robust, self-sufficient shelter. Today, we face a volatile climate and fragile systems. The lost Viking building technique is a parable for our times. We've built marvels, but also fragility. The answer isn't abandoning technology, but blending it with ancient resilience. Hybrid homes can combine turf house principles with modern efficiency. The lesson: design for resilience, use local materials, and build for security. This is about more than architecture. It's a mindset shift towards self-sufficiency. The wisdom of the Norse, once buried, is ready to be rediscovered. Sometimes the answers are just beneath the surface, waiting for us to dig them up.